On today's Dinging Corners, we're looking back at the top performers from the first half of the season. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. Welcome, everyone, to Dinging Corners, a baseball podcast powered by SlabStox. I'm your host, Nate, and today we are looking back at some of the top guys from the first half of the season. The best hitter, the best pitcher, the best all-around player, wink, wink, Shohei Ohtani, and then also the best minor league pitcher and the best minor league hitter. There are going to be some, my choice. You might not agree with me. You might say to yourself, the MLB side, you pretty much have to agree with me. But on the minor league side, there's a number of guys that we could have gone with that, you're probably going to disagree with me. But that's okay. The nice thing is, in the minor leagues, there's going to be so many guys that were amazing at hitting and pitching that I didn't choose, and then some guys that I did choose that you might not be expecting. So it'll be fun. Let me get going, sharing the screen here. Before we get into it, I want to bring up something. If you go to slabstox.com/shop and click on shop, you will find the shop page has a number of boxes in it. UFC Prism, Stadium Club, 2021 Stadium Club, Upper Deck the Cup Hobby, NBA Noir from 2021, and then also a SP Game Use Edition Golf from 2021. And these are all Camp Kesem breaks. If you buy a pack or a card, Noir is just one random card. If you buy a pack or a card, you get into a break, and all of the money, 100% of the money goes to Camp Kesem. We don't keep any of it. So if you spend $165 to get a card, all $165 go to Camp Kesem. Now, you're probably asking yourself, if you haven't, listened to our live streams or anything, what in the wide world is Camp Kesem? And it is a charity that sends kids every summer to camp. And these kids come from families where the parents have cancer. So they are having to deal with life struggles of having a parent go through cancer, or having gone through cancer, or having passed away from cancer. They get out of the house and get away from those struggles for a little bit and enjoy a week's worth of camp. And so I think it's a pretty good cause. I really do. I think it's nice for these kids to get away from life's stresses, 8-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds, however old you are. It's not easy. I don't have any experience in this situation, but I can't imagine it's easy to deal with having a parent have cancer and everything that goes along with that. Not only just the fear and the worry about your parents, but also the financial burden, and all of a sudden, maybe you got to do things. Maybe you got to go camping when you were younger, and then your parent goes through cancer. The money dries up, and now you don't get to do anything fun as a kid. That stinks. They get to have a fun time at Camp Kesem. It costs about $500 to send a kid to camp. And so with every pack we sell, we get a little bit closer to sending one kid to camp. And so if you are looking to get into breaks, I would ask you to get into these breaks. It is a good cause, and you can't beat that. So please, if you're looking to get into breaks today, I would ask you to consider getting into our Camp Kesem charity breaks for the kids. All right, on to our main thing. And there is no slideshow today. We are just doing Chrome tabs because I'm not smart enough to figure out how to get SlabStox Pro without just taking a screenshot into the slideshow. So we're just doing Chrome tabs. Here we go. Best hitter of the first half of 2021 season is none other than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, how could you choose any different? You can see his graph there. We've got his Topps Chrome PSA 10. And just to read off his stats real quick, he's leading the league in batting average with a 332 average. He's leading in on-base percentage with a 430 on base. He's leading in OPS with a 1,089 OPS, and he's leading in OPS plus with a 193 OPS plus. He also leads the league in RBI with 73. He's behind Ohtani in home runs. He's got 28 home runs to Ohtani's 33, so he's a bit behind. But if he were to catch up, he would be on pace for the Triple Crown, which never happens. And the last time somebody won the Triple Crown, shout out Miguel Cabrera. Thank you. Shout out Miguel Cabrera. He won the MVP, even though he probably didn't deserve it because Mike Trout deserved it. And now you fast forward, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could win the MVP, but Ohtani, or the Triple Crown, but Ohtani will probably win the MVP. And so you have a Triple Crown winner not beating an Angel this time for the MVP. So Vlad Guerrero Jr., definitely the best hitter in the league by a long shot. 1,089 OPS is unbelievable. And so if we're looking at his prices here, you can see 6-month trend, and we are all the way down to $131 for a Topps Chrome base PSA 10. And then we fluctuate. And we were pretty much above by at least $20 the rest of the summer from the low point 6 months ago. And then we rose, and we got all the way up past $300, a high of $330. And then we've steadily been dropping. Not 100% sure the reason for that, but our last sale on SlabStox Pro, $198 on July 12th. Still, $198 from $131. That's pretty good. $60 increase for a dude who has been absolutely one of the best players in the league. And a $60 increase for a base card. When base cards have been dropping, Vlad Guerrero Jr. base prices have been rising. So Vlad Guerrero Jr., best hitter in the league. Now, the best pitcher, there is only one option, and that is Jacob DeGrom. Now, we have Jacob DeGrom's Topps Update rookie PSA 10 here, and let's just cover Jacob DeGrom's stats a little bit here. He has thrown 92 innings with a 1.08 ERA. Would have been a little bit better, but the Brewers got 2 home runs off of him the other day. He's only given up 6 home runs on the year, and 2 of those came to Brewers. Shout out Jace Peterson and Luis Urias. Or Urias. I don't remember how to say his last name. 92 innings, 146 strikeouts to only 11 walks. That's absurd. 146 strikeouts in 92 innings is mind-bogglingly good. And as long as Jacob DeGrom is in the National League, I hate to say it, but there's no hope for Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, or Freddie Peralta to get Cy Young awards. I love them. They're Brewers. They're amazing. Brandon Woodruff is probably second in Cy Young right now. And yet, because of Jacob DeGrom, there's no chance. There's no chance. He is unbelievably good. He is the best pitcher I've ever seen, and I just clicked on the wrong thing. So, Jacob DeGrom, we've got a 6-month trend here, and you can see back 6 months ago, we're chilling at $187. We dropped all the way down to $166, and then he started pitching, and this thing started rising. And again, this is a base card. This is a base card, and you can see it here. Went all the way up to $1,000, which is absolutely absurd. And then crept back down, rose up $770, and now the last sale is $633. So from $187 6 months ago to $633 for the best pitcher on the planet. Pitchers don't get love usually, and yet Jacob DeGrom, with his 99-mile-per-hour fastball, his 101-mile-per-hour fastball, his 96-mile-per-hour slider, he is killing it. He's impossible to hit. You gave me 5 million at-bats. I would not be able to hit him, and he's finally getting the love he deserves. Pitchers finally getting the love they deserve. So Jacob DeGrom is our pitcher of the first half. Now, some of you are probably saying, dude, you went through a hitter, you went through a pitcher, and you still haven't mentioned Shohei Ohtani. How could you do that? Well, Ohtani, not the best hitter in the league. Really, really good, leads the league in home runs, not the best hitter in the league. Ohtani, really good pitcher, not the best pitcher in the league. But you add them together, and all of a sudden you have the best player in the league. And so Ohtani's stats, he is hitting 279 with a 364 on base and a 698 slugging, which is good for 1,062 OPS, about 27 points lower than Vlad Guerrero Jr., and a 178 OPS plus, which is about 25 points lower than Vlad Guerrero Jr. Insanely good, but 25 points lower still. 4 triples and 33 home runs. He leads the league in both of those. Excuse me. So that is really nice. And then pitching side, 13 games, 67 innings. He has a 3.49 ERA and 87 strikeouts in those 67 innings. He's been really good on the pitching side. Obviously, there was one really big blow-up game there, 7 runs in 2/3 of an inning, or else these stats would be better. And so, Ohtani, best player in the league. He's worth 5.6 Baseball Reference wins above replacement. And you can see it here. You could have gotten his card for all the way down. This Bowman Chrome rookie PSA 10, which much has been made of, you could have gotten this card for $47 6 months ago in January. $47, and you could have sold it if you just held on. Now, if you're me, you would have probably sold it $150 or $100 because you're like, I'm making $60. But if you had the wherewithal to hold it, you can see this trend, and we've made a lot about this trend in the last couple of weeks. It went all the way up $2,000, $1,970, and now it's down $1,651. And $1,651 is still a really good price. Now, is there some shenanigans going on with this card, considering the slow climb it had and then all of a sudden it exploded? Probably. There's probably shenanigans going on, but that doesn't mean that it's not, people still haven't been paying for it, right? And so $47 to $1,600, an unbelievable rise. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in the card market, especially the baseball card market, in my entire life doing this. And so this has been an incredible rise for this Ohtani card, and it's been an incredible rise for Ohtani, and he is the player of the first half. Now on to the most disappointing player of the first half, and for me, that can be none other than Juan Soto. And I hate to rag on him because his stats really aren't that bad, but Juan Soto, his stats just aren't there. And so we're looking at him, and he's hitting 283 with a 407 on base and a 445 slugging. Honestly, his 407 on base is like right around his career average. And his 283 batting average is about 10 points lower than his career average. But his 445 slugging is way lower than his career average. He's averaging a 535 slugging, and that includes the 445. If he didn't have the 445, it would be way higher. But he averages a 535 slugging in his career, and he's at 445. He's just not getting to his power. He's walking a ton. He's got 58 walks to 52 strikeouts. That's really good. And a 143 OPS plus. That's really nice. That is right in line with his first 2 years. Obviously, last year he was 223 in the shortened season, which was unbelievable. But his power is just not there. And I'm not 100% sure what to make of it. So get this. His home run rate is down 3.3%, which is a career low. But his strikeout rate is at 15.7, which is second lowest in his career and only 1.6 percentage points higher than last year. His walk rate is 17.5%, which is higher than his career average, but lower than last year of 20.9. Now, this is where things get interesting. His average exit velocity, 92.6, which is a career high. His hard hit rate, 54.1, which is a career high. His ground ball rate, though, 55.4, career high. And his line drive rate, 23.4, almost a career low. His rookie season, he had a lower one, but is a major drop-off, 5 percentage point drop-off from last year on line drive rate. And then his fly ball percentage is up actually from last year by 0.8%. So he's grounding out more and he's line driving less, but he's hitting fly balls more, and he's hard hit. Exit velocity is up, and yet for some reason His isolated power is way down, 162. His batting average balls in play is also down by 50 points from last year to this year. It was too high last year. This is more in line with what he's at with a 313. But his isolated power is a 162. His career average is 242 for isolated power, 162. He's been disappointing, even though a lot of his underlying stats are good. You would like him to ground out less. You'd like him to start hitting line drives a little bit more. And I think he'll be fine. He's walking a ton. He still has the eye. So no matter what he does, a 407 on base is always going to play, no matter how poorly you're hitting the ball. If you're getting on base 40% of the time, you're good to go. But Juan Soto has definitely been disappointing. And we're looking at his graph, and we're 6 month on the Topps Chrome Update PSA 10. And a reminder, this is a base card. And so there are going to be drops in base card prices unless you're Vlad Guerrero Jr., or Jacob DeGrom, but most everyone else has base card drops, and this started at $490 6 months ago, rose all the way up to $580 on March 29th, and then it's been a steady decline, as you can see, all the way down to $218 on July 14th. And so you're mixing in both being disappointing as a hitter, especially from the power standpoint. Average is fine. On base percentage is fine. He's just not getting to power. And so that coupled with people just not caring about base cards as much, and you have a low of $218.51 in the last 6 months for this Juan Soto. That's really rough considering if people bought him at $580, that's tough because you are more than cut in half. Almost cut in thirds, honestly. And so Juan Soto, big old disappointment. And I have another Juan Soto tab up here. All right, so Juan Soto is the guy. Now on to the minor league hitter and pitcher of the year, and we'll start with the pitcher. And now, to be fair, I do not have graphs for them on SlabStox Pro. Hopefully one day we will be able to get there. Our first guy is Shane Baz. Let me read off some stats before we get into it. And Shane Baz, there's a lot of guys. I actually took a list on my phone and then didn't have it up. There's a lot of guys that I could have chosen from that would have been fine. Jake Eder, Miami. Ken Waldichuk, the Yankees. Logan Allen in Cleveland. Ethan Small, my Brewers. Grayson Rodriguez, Orioles, to name a few, are guys I could have chosen for the minor league pitcher of the year. But I went with Shane Baz, partially because I've been on the Shane Baz train for a long time, and partially because this is so unexpected. So he has thrown 19 innings at AAA and 32 innings at AA. He struck out over 13 guys per 9 innings in both those stops. He's had an ERA under 2.5 in both those stops, including AAA, where he has a 1.42 ERA. He is striking guys out. He is not walking guys. He has a total of 8 walks on the year. How unbelievable is that? So he has 77 strikeouts to 8 walks in 51 innings. 51 innings. 77 strikeouts, 8 walks for a guy whose command was given a 40. So Fangraphs gave him a 70 fastball, 60 curveball, 40 changeup, 60 cutter, 40 command. And yet here he is, Rays magic, killing the minor leagues. And I love it because I was on the Shane Baz hype train a while ago. When he got traded from the Pirates to the Rays, I said, I would take a gamble on him. And then, injuries and whatnot. And all of a sudden I heard the Rays were going to change him into a reliever. And then I was a little bit off the Shane Baz hype train because I was like, well, if he's going to get turned into a reliever because they don't believe in his command, then, there's not much value there. Well, fast forward, he is not a reliever. He is killing it. He is amazing in AA. He's been even better in AAA. And he looks like the next big thing for the Rays. He's somehow reined in his command. Only 8 walks in 51 innings. That's really, really good for a guy that was given a future 40 command Shane Baz is the real deal. And you can see this here. July 9th, $170 for a PSA 10. But if we scroll down, on May 6th, you could have gotten the same card for $53. In fact, you could have got a Blue Wave PSA 10 for less than you could have gotten for $100, $70 less than you could get a base auto PSA 10. So Shane Baz has been unbelievable. There's a lot of guys with better ERAs. There's guys with more strikeouts. But when you add in his strikeouts to walks, considering what they gave him for command, Shane Baz is the guy to me that has been the most surprising, because I wasn't expecting, you expect the strikeouts. And somewhat I was expecting good ERAs, but I wasn't expecting him to start, and I wasn't expecting the walks to be so low. You know, if he has 77 strikeouts in 51 innings, I was kind of expecting like 30 walks. He doesn't have that. He has 8. It's been amazing to see him play. He's a stud. He's a stud. His stuff is nasty, and Shane Baz is on his way. Now for the hitter of the year, this might come as a surprise to people, but I've got Cal Raleigh, Mariners catching prospect Cal Raleigh. There's a lot of guys I could have chosen from that weren't Cal Raleigh, but I think it's interesting because he is a 24-year-old catcher. Obviously, he sat out 2020, did not play, and yet here he is killing AAA. So in AAA, he hit 324 with a 377 on base and a 608 slugging. That's really, really good. You know, a 985 OPS. That's really, really good. He had 21 doubles, 9 home runs, and a triple. So he had 31 extra base hits in 44 games. If you extrapolate that out, 44 games is basically a fourth of the season. 31, you're looking at 120 extra base hits on a season for Cal Raleigh, including 80 doubles, you know, and 30 plus 36 home runs. So Cal Raleigh has been incredible. He is just absolutely hitting the cover off the ball. He's getting on base, 7% walk rate. He's lowered his strikeout rate from last year to 12.6%. So first time in AAA, he's walking a little less, but he's striking out way less, and he's hitting the cover off the ball, and he's hitting for power. Cal Raleigh is my minor league hitter of the first half. And you can see here, July 14th, somebody popped a Bowman Chrome Auto for $68. And there's a couple that people pop for less here. I can't see the price on July 13th and July 13th, but they popped it for less. If you go all the way to the bottom, you would have seen $21.50 May 1st, $26.26, $16 on April 21st, $16 on April 17th. And so, you know, you say $25 range for him. Well, if you're in the $25 range and now somebody's popping an auto for $68, you're doing pretty good. July 9th, $41. You're still making money. Considering he's a catcher, considering he's on the Mariners, and considering the Mariners have a number of prospects, Julio Rodriguez, Noelvi Marte, Jared Kelenic, who are significantly higher on the prospect list and in people's minds, the fact that you're making money on a guy like this is incredible to me. And so Cal Raleigh is my minor league position player of the first half of 2021. That was my hitter of the MLB season, or first half of the MLB season, my pitcher of the first half of the MLB season, my player. Shout out Shohei Ohtani. He's not the best hitter. He's not the best pitcher. But when you combine it together, he is the best player. Juan Soto, very disappointing, but I expect a bounce back, just like I expect a bounce back from a guy like Christian Yelich. He just went on part of my take, and now I expect him to hit, 1,000 home runs in the second half. And then shout out to Shane Baz and Cal Raleigh. If you would have said to me, Nathan, who do you expect to be two of the top performers by mid-season 2021 for the minor league season, I would not have guessed those two guys, but they are incredible. And if you are a Rays fan, if you can add Shane Baz to the rotation, and if you are a Mariners fan, you get to add Cal Raleigh, especially because their catching situation is pitiful, you're in really good shape. And so shout out to those guys for really exceeding expectations. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Remember, Camp Kesem If you want to join in on the charity breaks, you can go to slabstox.com/shop. And if you want to join in on our Camp Kesem night, if you're in Chicago, join our Camp Kesem night on that Friday in Chicago at the National. And if you can't make it to Chicago, we will be putting out information on how to join the Camp Kesem night via YouTube and Instagram, and how you can join in on the festivities there, all to raise money for the kids so that they can have a little bit of peace and joy in their lives when they're dealing with such tough things to deal with as a child. So anyways, thank you for listening to Dinging Corners today. I will talk to you guys again next time.